Hey, y'all. It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda. I'm back live. It's been a minute since I've been on live. So I'm excited to join you. New year, new lives, all things new, right? So excited about that. I'm on here because I've been getting some questions from people who are really kind of thinking about and embarking on their speaker journey. And they've been asking me um, some questions. And one of the main questions that I get, I wanted to address today because it's it's a big question, right? Should I speak for free? Should I accept free speaking engagements? And I want to first of all say that just because you're just starting out doesn't necessarily mean that you can only speak for free. That's not true. There are lots of paid speaking engagements that come to people who haven't been speakers for 20 years, right? My very first speaking engagement was a paid speaking engagement in front of about 2,000 people, well, professionally. So don't think that it's not out there, but there are times when you're asked and you're like, should I or shouldn't I? And so I get this question quite a lot, especially as people are starting out or thinking about transitioning into speaking from their career, or they're retiring, or they're kind of putting their business on autopilot, and they want to kind of really explore this area of being an expert speaker and being seen as a thought leader in their industry. And they're really looking at, okay, how do I make this transition? Does it all have to be free? And so my answer is, it depends. It depends. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Rhonda Alexander. I'm the founder of SoulScribe. I work with experts, entrepreneurs, executives, professional service providers who want to become professional speakers and published authors. We work together using my story to stage methodology to combine their passion, their considerable expertise, and their powerful life story to construct a signature story that they can use to elevate their impact and multiply their income as a speaker. So, really excited about that. I love the opportunity to work with people who are just diving into that signature story. But here's the thing about the question that is on the table. Do I take a unpaid speaking engagement? And I know, like I said, the knee jerk reaction is no, I'm not speaking for free. I got all these degrees on the wall, and done all this, got 20 years of experience, and I've got all this stuff. No, I'm not going to. And I understand because um far too many of us have been asked that question because from somebody who really was only going to have, five people in the room, and they had these huge lofty goals, but they just didn't want to pay you because they didn't have the budget to do so. And that whole do it for exposure, right? We're going to do it for the exposure. You're like, well, really, you're just exposing me to a loss of revenue. But truth be told, there are times when taking an unpaid speaking engagement is very lucrative, right? It depends on who's number one going to be in the room. So there are two times when I would say to you, absolutely, if that room is going to be full of people who are going to be eager to work with you, to meet with you, to become a part of your ecosystem. You want to be in that room. You want those eyes on you. You want people to know who you are, hear from you, and know you're an expert, right? The other thing is, if the room is going to be full of decision makers, big name people who have the opportunity, or have the ability rather, to invite you to to speak at their event, or to connect with them and collaborate with them on a higher level. Now they're in your ecosystem and they know you. You get to network with those folks. And sometimes those connections are even more valuable than, a $500, $1,000 payment, because those are the gifts that keep on giving, right? So there are times when you have to look at that room and see the value of that room beyond the immediate dollar, which we all want the immediate dollar. But if you spoke for free today and it resulted in 40, 50,000 dollar contracts after that and speaking engagement after that, then that was a really good investment of your expertise and your time, right? So you really have to, it's not just willy nilly, yeah, do it, but you really have to be discerning. The other thing when I would tell you to say yes is if you had the opportunity to have a table, a vending table after. And I don't mean your t shirts and your wristbands, because I'm not wearing your name on my back. I ain't doing it. And a whole lot of other folks probably not either. So whatever. so so what is at this table? A, you, B, your book, right? Because at this table is where some of these connections are happening. When you're done talking and that session is over and you're standing at that table, you now have the opportunity to connect with your audience, and to have conversations with them, and to talk to them about their needs, their goals, their desires, not just to get the pats on the back, but to really start to network and talk to people about this signature story, about what you do. And you always have that content, right? Because you have a signature story, i.e., your book. So at that vendor table, you've got to have something to sell and you've got to have your book. That's what you have to do. Because truth be told, if you accept a speaking engagement, let's say it has 100 people at it, right? And let's say 20 people buy your book, right? And it was an unpaid engagement and you're selling a $20 book, 20 people buy the book, that's $400 that you have now generated in revenue that you would not have generated if you have just gone, been amazing on stage and left, right? You've got to not only think about how can I ramp up my revenue from this immediate moment, but also how can I increase the return on the investment of my time and my effort in preparing for this and all of the stuff that it has taken me to prepare as an expert and for that moment in particular. So you have to be able um to 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 give people something. To You have to leave them with something, give them something that when they walk away from your table, they still have a piece of you that they can get to know more. Now they're a part of your sphere, they're a part of your ecosystem. Now they're going to connect to you on LinkedIn, they're going to connect to you on Facebook, they're going to connect to you on your various channels. And when they need you for service, or when you need them, when it's time to collaborate, you have increased the surface area of people that you're able to connect with. There is value to that. So I want to encourage you, if you are speaking this year, or if your aspiration is to land speaking engagements this year, especially in the next 4 to 6 months, you need to start writing your book. You need to start working on that signature story. If you are trying to be a thought leader, we need to document that authority. It's not that we don't think you're credible. It's not that we don't think you're an authority, but we need you to have something in your hand that you leave with people, that you can that reinforces what you did on stage, right? That's the calling card. That's the business card, is to have that signature story. And so that's what Soul Scribe does. That's what I help people to do, is to tap into the story of not only their amazing career, but the power behind that career, the person behind that career. And we combine that and we turn that into an irresistible story that not only documents you as a credible authority, thought leader in your industry, it also um, eh, makes sure that people have something of you to go back and to refer to when they're like, you know what, I think I heard this woman, blah blah blah. She was there, and I think I remember. Oh, I think I have her book. I got her book, right? But you're increasing that impact, you're increasing that income, you're really able to take control over that moment, even if you're not being paid by that speaking engagement. You don't have to walk out of that moment empty handed. right? You have to find ways to generate revenue and to get a return on that investment. And your signature story is the way to do that. So, how do we write the signature story? Easy. You join me for the accelerator. Next week on the 17th and 18th, I am hosting the Signature Story Accelerator. It is online, it is virtual. It is going to be amazing. 7:30 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. respectively, Wednesday, Thursday. And we're going to dive into the actual blueprint of writing your story. You're going to put together the framework of that signature story. So this isn't just 2 days of me talking. This is group work. It is being productive, and it is coming out of that moment with the beginnings of what you need to write your book. Now, if you know that in the next 4 months or in the next few weeks, you've got a speaking engagement and you need a book in your hands, you need to get in my DMs, right? You need to get into my inbox, or you need to go to meetwithdrrhonda.net. You need to get on my calendar and we need to talk, because I can help you get that signature story written and in your hands in before you know it. Trust me when I tell you, right? And let's talk about your timeline and talk about how I can help you to meet that timeline so that you can not only have significant impact, you can also increase your revenue. That means money. And we're all about increasing our impact and our revenue in 2024. I especially hope you are. So that's it. I really hope to see you in my DMs. Meet with drrhonda.net is another way that if you just want to bypass the DMs and you want to just jump on my calendar, smart idea, because it is filling